Hello, hello. I'm Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights. And today I am talking with Tony J Selimi, and we met at the Chanticleer Authors Conference this past weekend. We just kind of bumped into each other in the hallway, and gosh, we hit it off right away. Tony, welcome to Author in the Headlights.
Strider, it's such a pleasure to meet a fellow author, but also being interviewed by a fellow author. And I loved the way we randomly connected and really discussed things, and then really seeing how coming from different parts of the world, but we have a clear vision, the way we see the world and the direction we want to take.
Right. In fact, we talked for ages standing there in the hallway. You are a world-known businessman and author and business and personal coach, and you get around. You do teaching and training and conventions. And is that all you do with your life?
Well, I do many things in my life, but yes, my primary mission in life is to use the teachings and the methods that I've shared across all of my books to elevate people globally and inspire 1 billion people to go through those personal, professional, and business transformations, which then contribute towards transforming humanity. Because, the more we do that, the more we can live a better world for the generations to come, just the way how our parents fought in the war, World War II, World War I. We too have a duty to do something and leave a better world for the generations to come.
And I like that concept. Yeah, it's not just for us. It is for the world. I mean, when you make those kind of pictures, then the person next door is just family too, because we are all connected. It's a very small world, as I have so often said, and just bumping into people, because you and I would never have met other than for what we're doing.
Yes, I mean, it's Chanticleer was really almost like divine timing, because I had a client who booked me, and I said to myself, let me show up and be of service to as many authors as I can, having gone through the journey of authoring and publishing 6 books and making them successful globally. I learned a lot of the tricks of the trade in the publishing and authorship. How do you get yourself from being unknown to being globally known? And how do I transfer the skills that I built in business and in technology and managing people for almost 70 years and managing large scale technology transformation programs that in the dollars, we're talking about over $10 billion. And how do I transfer that knowledge and skills to help the authors at the conference? And I trust, you enjoyed the presentations you came. And for me, it was really giving from my heart some of the lessons, some of the pains, some of the mistakes that we do as authors, and then leaving them with 12-step insight, how to accelerate their author journey so their books can be read globally and make a huge difference in the world.
And that is really an accomplishment. I mean, how many times do we bump into problems and issues because we have no experience and no one to teach us? But to have you come and tell us how to do it and explain it, and I've been there, I've done that, this is what's come forward. That is top dollar training, I tell you.
Thank you. I mean, yes, yeah, actually, you're quite correct, because my clients globally do pay top dollars to have the exclusivity with me, because I don't spend a lot of the time doing training, because I have so many private clients and I run my own VIP training retreat in beautiful places around the world. So that takes most of my time. And then also I have a lot of individual Zoom sessions. So I have to really plan my time, and my PA Alma does an incredible job. So when she watches this, I want to say thank you, because as you can see, I have people in the moment I meet and say, come on my podcast, come on my TV show, come on my radio show. So this Sunday I'll be on a TV show in Kosovo. So can you imagine, like, from Bellingham, Seattle, London, Mallorca, Kosovo, all in like 2 weeks?
Well, it keeps you busy. Gives you something to do, I guess.
Keeps me busy, yes. And keeps me very inspired, Strider, because, when you help people to really monetize that pain that they've gone through in the service of humanity, it's really fulfilling. because suddenly their worth is growing. And of course, when you help somebody grow their worth, the first person they're going to come back to say thank you and I love you is to you, the person who helped them.
That's true. And we get what we give. And when you give it, it returns back to you manyfold. That's just natural laws. And so many people do believe that around the world. He said it's a small world. That is a belief that is universal.
There are some universal truths that if we really adopt them, and I talk quite a lot about the A Path to Excellence, the book that just won the Heartland Award,
Woohoo!
nonfiction inspirational. And in here, the main principles is the different cycles of life, going from regeneration, from focus, unity, balance, the service, and the infinity. And then how do we go through those transitional cycles of life where our mind says one thing and our heart says something else? And how do we align ourselves to the things that we truly value in ourselves with excellence leading the way? Whether you want to be an excellent individual, a partner, a father, a brother, a mother, in your community, in your business, in your profession, or as a leader in the world. How do you show up with excellence shining your path? And this is the questions and the answers people can find out when they read A Path to Excellence.
And again, those are universal concepts that are in all parts of our life. And yet you were up there for an authors convention to speak directly to authors about their work, their books, and how to promote themselves and things go better. And you said something about tailor-made solutions that amplify an author's presence and helps them to connect authentically with their audience. Now, what does that exactly mean? Because we're talking here on this podcast, we're talking to both readers and writers. In this case, we're speaking to the writers. So how does that connect with them in particular?
Like each writer is unique, their experience of life is unique, their books are unique. Whether you're writing fiction, nonfiction, memoir, or you're writing scripts for movies, or you're writing poetry, in order for you to take your work into the world, you need to really develop business skills that enable you, on top of your writing, to be able to get more readers out there, to be recognized as a writer, and also to be able to use that as a form of teaching whatever you have to share. So you can provide a solution to someone's problem. Because the common things that I see amongst artistic people, not only being a writer, but also being a musician, being an artist, and all those things that we associate with being artistic, they are brilliant at doing that. But where they fail the most is building a business and using whatever they're doing as a platform to build a business. And most artistic people land on whatever they're doing by accident. But maybe it's an accident, or maybe your soul wants you to bring your greatest creativity out in the world so you can leave a legacy. And unfortunately, most famous artists are the ones who passed away. So I want to change that. I want to ensure that whether they're authors, whether they're artists, whether they're musicians, I can help them with customized, tailored solutions that fits their reality to be able to grow their business and bring their work out in the world. And those are skills, for instance. You know, most people don't have that kind of understanding. What does it mean to run a business at the back of your book?
True.
And most people think that the business is sales of the books, but as authors, we all know majority of our royalties go to somebody else. And unless you are an author who sells hundreds of millions of copies, you're not going to make money out of that. But what you could do, you could actually use your book to open up doors, and you can use your book as your main business card. You can use your book to empower communities, to share your message. And also, I've given so many books away. Every time I put an order, I make sure like 25% of that order, I give it to different people, different charities. Sometimes I stop to homeless, and I share the story how from a homeless person came a huge opportunity just because I sat with him, talked to him, I shared him which principles within the book can help him get a job, and he did. As a result of that, he spread the message to so many people. And I got invited on speaking engagements. I got paid for that, and I got training to develop. So there are many forms you can build those things. Yeah. And so, over the last 15 years, I've learned all of those skills. And now majority of my clients, when they start working with me, not only I help them develop their work and contribute towards from conceptualizing the idea of what you want to write to all the way taking your book around the world and making it profitable venture. So because I've got all of those different skills that people want, need, and they can use for themselves, and then they can learn them as sooner or later. Most of my clients who've been with me for the last 5 to 8 years, they are now monetizing everything they've been learning, and they've had this focused learning and training. So, they expand their visions. But whatever vision you have for your life, I believe that, with the right expertise, with the right training, with the right guidance, you can reach much bigger audience, and you can do so much more with who you are. And the main tagline behind A Path to Excellence is, why live an average when you are born to be extraordinary?
Well, that gives us hope. And everything needs a firm foundation. It takes time to develop, to get that. Nobody starts a business and expects to make a fortune their first year. It just doesn't happen. Having owned businesses, it doesn't. You have to build that foundation and build the growth and get the stuff and then get the ball rolling. And then it kind of carries itself once that momentum gets there.
Yes,
God,
absolutely. I mean, it is a process.
it is. You have several books out, A Path to Wisdom, Path to Excellence, The Unfakeable Code, and hashtag Loneliness. Now, those are your big sellers out there. You said you had 6?
Yes, I also have Fit for Purpose Leadership. And in there, I'm talking about burnout. And I wrote it with fellow leaders as a joint project to help specifically people who are in leadership positions. Because often the very same people end up being stressed, frustrated, angry, and I would say burned out fully, where they say they burn the candle on both sides. And then, who likes a frustrated leader? I've been there in the corporate world. Nobody likes a burned out leader. Nobody likes somebody who's constantly moaning and angry and stressed and everything else. We, as human beings, we stay away from stressed people.
We do. You can get a hold of Tony and connect with him, his work, his projects at tonyselimi.com. TonySelimi.com. You can link in there, and he's got tons of information. I know because I've looked at it. Tony, we have run out of time, and you're busy. Man, I'd trade you places. Where you're sitting there is just beautiful.
It's very zen, frankly. I'm here at the Space Needle in Seattle. It's in the background, and there's the gardens in here. So it's quite zen and quite beautiful. And I love connecting with nature wherever I am.
That's awesome. I want to thank you for spending some of your day there. Actually, I'll let them know that you were on the transit when we first connected, and it was just too bouncy and bubbly, but we were going to try because it was going to be fun. So maybe I'll just kind of, bump into you down the road somewhere. I'm sure we will, because that's how the world works.
I know. I mean, it's few people from Australia connected with me on LinkedIn, like Mark. We chatted before we came in there, and Mark knew I won't be able to come because my agenda was like that. But also said to Mark, somehow I feel I will be there.
Yep.
And here we go. I am here.
Isn't it neat? Yep. Mark was awesome. There are such neat people out there, and it just takes bumping into each other, and instead of ignoring each other, you got to talk. You got to bump into each other.
Absolutely. You got to talk, you got to connect. And I call something called connection commitment. So
because you do have to get back to.
You have to get back to them. I'm not sure if you noticed straight away the moment you gave me your card, I went and wrote you an email. And I do that whoever connects with me, whoever gives me a card. I mean, for me, I grew up with very traditional values, Strider. So I always get back to the person straight away. If they give me the card, I go, hello, here's my details, here's the stuff. Great to meet you. In your case, we'll do the podcast. We do the podcast. In other places, ask some kind of different topic. But
It's true.
people don't do that. It's such a simple thing that you can connect and keep the commitment to connection.
Well, this has given me the opportunity to actually reach out and connect with people. Not only
Yep.
it's an excuse, a good excuse, because
Good
otherwise,
excuse, exactly.
yeah, who likes to just talk to somebody? Well, some people
Uh,
don't, but if you have a good reason, I have a good reason to talk to them and I enjoy it.
Well, I mean,
Thank-
I never thought I'd be where I am today, Strider, because like yourself, when I started it, because I had technology paying the bills, I started doing from the bottom of my heart, this is what I want to do. And then that switched within 3 years. When I suddenly
Wow.
saw I can make this, like being able to pay the bills doing what I love, why not?
Tony, it's been awesome. It really
Likewise.
has. And hope to get some time for yourself other than just sitting out in the park. Oh, that looks tough, I tell you.
It looks very tough, very peaceful.
Thank you, Tony. I truly appreciate your time here and speaking with me separately. And good luck with you. And I'm going to just keep on pushing on and I'm going to try to follow those rules for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Strider.
You bet. Until next time, I'm Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights, sponsored by DermanPublishing.com. And thank you for joining us.